Hi, everyone, and welcome to Whom It May Concerns Hood Professionals. I am your host, AP, and welcome to the month of May. This topic is kind of old because it was something that picked up momentum last year, but it's one that has definitely resonated with me, and I haven't been ready to let it go. I've been wanting to talk about it, and I think this is the perfect time to talk about it. So, it's quiet quitting. And while I had one scenario in my mind, when I hear quiet quitting, I thought of it as I'm ready to get the hell on, but I'm doing it quietly. I'm still doing my job, but I'm not having the conversations with like my favorite coworkers. Like, I'm about to get, I'm about to bounce, right? Like, I'm gonna get the hell on, right? Right. So that's what I was thinking quiet quitting was. Unbeknownst to me, until I started researching the topic, quiet quitting is more so about deciding not to go the extra mile on your job, not going above beyond on your job, still doing your job, but just not doing the little extra bells and whistles. And a lot of people say that is to um, pretty much avoid like burnout, setting aside boundaries, really, being able to balance that work-life balance, like having that balance in place. I know I just said balance like 5 times. And also just playing your role and staying in your lane. I'm like, wow, okay. Um, I thought everybody was doing that anyway, but it's funny because I came across an article from NPR back in September of 2022 where they were thinking, is quiet quitting the proper terminology to be using, right? Like, should it be called something else? And it's funny that they gave a term, it's like a Japanese term. I'm gonna attempt to say it, even though I know it may be wrong. It's like shokoem or shokoam, where it means the exact opposite of quiet quitting, but I'm just gonna say it. The definition for the shokoam or shokoam is an artist putting their whole passion or putting their whole heart into something that they're passionate about. And I feel like that's that is the essence of what is missing and what leads us to quiet quitting. The lack of passion and also the lack of appreciation. And I feel like for me, gone are the days of you appreciating me with a award, an email to all staff, and a $25 gift card to Target. Because let's face it, ain't much you getting out of Target with $25, and half the people are not responding to the all staff email as they should to say congratulations, blah blah blah, woo de woo. And that award is going to collect dust somewhere. It's going to wind up in a box, or somebody's kid draws on it, or it's now what's in the stack of mail that's collecting in your little designated mail place, right? So for me, appreciation is dollar signs. I don't even necessarily need a title. I'm one of those people. You ain't got to title me. Pay me and make it out to cash. And don't give me a bonus. I want a raise. I want something that is going to continuously show up and give me a little extra boost of why I should go the extra mile, why I should do certain things. So it's like, let's delve in a little bit more into it. So the article went on and it had a quote from a lady by the name of Julia Pollack. She's an employee of Zip Recruiter, and she seems to think with job firings and layoffs being at a record low, people have unprecedented job security, right? I gasped. And so the risk of termination is lower, and that is also why the incentive to work harder is reduced. I just want to take a moment and to shout out Henry Ford, who came up with the 40-hour work week. I don't appreciate you, and I don't respect you, and I don't respect the fact that we are still beholding to a practice that is hundreds of years old. Okay? This whole concept of like work harder, work harder, work harder. I'm just like, damn. You're at work for 8 to 10 hours, some of us 12 hours a day. How much more harder do you want? I don't know a single soul that while they're at work, every single minute that they are at work is spent working. I don't know a single soul. I personally don't. Not to say that it does not exist, but I don't know one. And I know, and my other thing is that you could be at work every single day. You could be in your office or wherever location or what type of location that you work in. Doesn't mean you're being productive. Doesn't mean that you're engaged. Doesn't mean you want to be there, but that you have responsibility. So I feel like if I come in, get my 40, do my work in the time frame you want me to do it, half the time I'm doing the work in less time, but I'm still there just in case I am needed, just in case I can be of assistance. When it's time for me to clock out, let me clock out. One person even said he worked for some news station saying, the person who's shutting their computer down at 5 o'clock is not working for me. I hope they're working for my competitor. Honey, it's 5 o'clock. What is it that you looking to be done with? They can't wait until it's time for me to clock in tomorrow. And forgive me if I'm wrong, or correct me if I'm wrong, but don't most news stations, like, they have to get up at the ass crack of dawn in order to be at work? So it's like you want people to work themselves late into the night and then turn around and have to be there in the morning, because even though there is a concept of flex time, BS, people want you to be where they want you to be. Because when actually do you get to use flex time, especially like, for instance, working in a nonprofit world or working in some type of corporate field where you are dealing with a lot of projects? There are certain times of the year that where there's like, programming is it's like time for it to re-up. And so it's like frantic. Everybody's trying to get everything in for audits, for grants, for QA, for reports. Like, it's just a madhouse. And those are the times of the year that it's very difficult for you to take time off, because everyone is vital in the process. So flex time can be tricky. So when the hell do you get your flex time in? Right? Like, when can it happen? Because then they tell you have to take your flex time in a certain amount of time period. But if you're at that time period, I'm just saying this, 9 times out of 10, if I'm having flex time, it's usually because something very important is coming up, and that's why I'm working over or coming in earlier. So when am I taking the flex time? When is it happening? I'm tired of this older generation, these baby boomers, and these tight wad a-holes who make it seem like if you set boundaries, if you set a hard stop for yourself when it comes to your productivity with a job that you don't own, somehow you're less productive. Somehow you don't care about your job. And I feel like that's what leads to quiet quitting. And while I completely had a different point of view of what quiet quitting is, and I'm still going to hold on to mine, because when it's time to get, in the words of, what's Black China's mama's name? Tokyo. I'm ready to get the ASAP. That's just what it is. Because I'm always intentional in praying for a workplace environment that is conducive to my well-being, conducive to my mental health, that I pray ahead of time that I'm well received and well received and well welcomed, shall I say, I guess, if that's what I want to say. And that the workplace environment isn't a workplace that is conducive for growth, right? Because I think that's the other thing. If you have an environment where there isn't a clear cut line of a trajectory of where I can go in the company, what the hell am I doing sitting around here twiddling my thumbs for? I don't want to be in the same position forever, especially as a millennial, especially as a single millennial. Right? And I think that's the other thing, that a lot of people have that spouse or that partner within the household where, okay, even if you're not making like your dream income, there's somebody else there to offset that. And for those of us who that's not our current reality, I don't understand the issue with us having a hunger that exceeds a company's desire for us to be loyal. No, 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 baby. Because if one thing the pandemic has taught a lot of people, there is no loyalty. Because at any moment, a lot of people who had been with companies for years and had hella education, hella degrees and licenses and certifications, and you're laid off, you're at home, you're struggling to find adequate work where you're not overqualified and you really just trying to make a sandwich so you can eat. So the pushback in the article with people talking about quiet quitting got me a little riled up, as you can tell. And then it also went on to say that quiet quitting is a symptom of poor management. And I don't necessarily think that's the case. If anything, I feel like a symptom of poor management is a high turnover. I think quiet quitting is something much more personal, much more things that we've learned through our parents or grandparents or other people significant in our lives where we've seen them give so much. Where maybe you've been in a household and a parent was not as present as they could have been because they were working so hard to provide. And I just think that have we not evolved enough as a society that we don't understand the concept that happiness truly comes from being able to rest and repair and restore as much as it is to work? Like, why should you be pushed and motivated and told all of this to go to college and do this so you can have a great job and do well? And then there are still people who are college degreed up and have hustles and have to take second jobs. What was the point? I'm just saying, at what time, when do we get to that space where we realize we have to stop the madness? We have to stop trying to require so much of people on these jobs. Like people are literally coming there so that they can have a place to lay their head, put food in their stomach, possibly take a vacation if they can afford it. Hell, even if it's just to do a staycation and go somewhere locally, but it's for the enjoyment. It's for the simple fact to get away from the office. I know that I used to be at a point where sometimes I could be away from the office, but I swear I could hear the ding of an incoming email, the ding of a Teams message, right? Or especially if you work in certain fields where you have clients that call you on the weekend or after hours, and sometimes you feel compelled to have to answer the phone or return. It takes a lot for you to step away from that. Because at one point it's like your home is your safe space. This is where I'm supposed to, decompress, disconnect from that and simply be here. It has taken a lot for me to unplug, leave work, and allow work to be at work. And to teach myself and to train myself that when I come home, tomorrow is another day for me to worry about that which has transpired. I'm just like when you're at work, they don't want you bringing your personal stuff to work and they want you to look at work. Hello, when I'm at home, I'm not bringing work home. I'm not. Although sometimes I have to, I'm just saying, like, worrying, trying to figure stuff out. That's what I got all the 8 hours for. That's what I have that for. Hell, I'll even work through a lunch break. But coming home and just bringing everything home, no, not doing it. Don't want to. And because I don't want to, that's it. So, for those of you who are contemplating quiet quitting, or you're currently practicing quiet quitting. What's the end goal? What is it that you see for yourself? Are you taking that extra energy and putting into things that you are passionate about? Your passion project, the idea of entrepreneurship, the idea of maybe returning to school, or maybe taking that dream trip, or maybe making that move that you're currently contemplating, thinking about making. What is the end goal? Because I like to know that if whatever it is that we're practicing, whatever we're contemplating or thinking about doing, surely we've thought it out beyond the moment. And then for those of you who are like, well, I'm just in the moment, I live in the moment, I go with the moment. Can I also encourage you to just maybe write some things down? You know, I always gotta make stuff biblically. Write it down and make it plain. Write it down and make it plain. Write the vision down. I currently now have a paper of goals that I have set for myself taped to my front door, so that whenever I'm waking up and I'm getting up, I'm going to head out, I am reading those things aloud to myself, so that I set the intention for the day that I can be reminded of the things that I say that I want. And not just saying that I want them, but speaking them in an affirmative manner. I will, I am, it is, right? So, in your quiet quitting, I hope that the one person who's getting the best of you is you first, and then you also are giving it to those who you love and who love you back. May this month be one of harvest, of reaping and harvesting. May you set the intention for where and who you want to be within the next 6 months, right? Because this year is going by fast. So while you're enjoying the present, make time to plan for the future. As always, thank you for joining in. I don't take your listenership for granted. I appreciate those of you who engage, who give feedback, and who share. Thank you so much. And I look forward to engaging with you. Catch us on Instagram at TWIMC_Hood Professionals. Please make sure to follow and we will follow back. All right? Peace.